Once again, my family is paying for my recording. They are suffering for this giggle fest I can sometimes get away with calling art. And I've turned the AC off.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
And I saw that picture you sent of you with the mic when you were showing me all the other audio equipment you have. Is that a closet you recorded in, Phil?
What? How dare you? This is the new DeLuca studio.
I figured all the clothing that was hanging around there must give you some nice like sound dampening effect.
Indeed it does.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've worked out this position. It's taken a great deal of effort to figure out exactly how to sit. Yeah, that was a pain in the butt. But this is what we do for our art.
It's what you have to do, right?
Yeah. But these are things we do. And so now I'm in the closet. I turn the AC off because it's the only sound that really penetrates unless someone's taking a shower or hammering the floor. And then a reminder to myself, I am audible when I wiggle or move.
I hear you moving, Phil.
Yeah, see? The thing is, if something happens where you're like, oh God, I've got explosive diarrhea, then you just say, I need an edit.
All right.
Or you say, that was for the edit, or please edit this out, and yada, yada, yada.
Sure.
Yeah. And one of our accomplished editors will make sure that doesn't happen.
Ooh. If I do get explosive diarrhea and it's hilarious,
it'll stay in.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even Sean today.
I know. Well, let's do one lion face, lemon face. Lion face, lemon face. There. Now Sean is here with us in spirit.
Is that a
you
Sean?
guys are ready?
Yep.
I say.
Yes. Perhaps we should do the entire show in a British accent. All right. If we're ready, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, don't do that.
Why not?
That was creepy.
That reminded me of Alice from Super Jail, if you've ever seen that.
I'll save that for the Halloween show.
Very Alice.
Hey.
I'm Phil DeLuca.
I'm Nate Burgess.
And Sean can't be with us tonight, but he's listening. And we are Commanderin.
He better be listening.
Yeah, he better be if he knows what's good for him. Commanderin. Thanks for listening, everybody. We're going to put a spotlight on community issues, but never, ever talk about 3 banned topics: religion, the Queen, and Hearthstone. Remember to check us out on Twitter at commanderin.mtg and talk to us there. This week, we have a wonderful show lined up for you. We're going to shine a spotlight on Shadowborn Apostle. That's right, your favorite little human cleric. We'll talk about some useful demon cards, some nice tricks in human tribal, cleric tribal, and useful human clerics, and then we'll get into some Shadowborn secret tech. That wasn't creepy, was it?
Nah.
No.
So we recommend you also check out the Command Zone episode 48. That's where Josh Lee Kwai's Shadowborn Apostles using Athreos was spotlighted. They did a deck tech, and it was wonderful. It's a good foundation for the show. And Nate, you are known for your Shadowborn Apostles deck, but to talk about this, we needed to bring someone on who revealed himself as a secret Shadowborn Apostles player. He is the voice of the Gitrog monster. He is the bearer of the Shadowborn Infinity. It's Dean Gootee.
Hey.
Hey, Dean, welcome to the show.
I am revealed.
Mm-hmm.
You've decloaked, as it were.
Yes.
So when you play your Shadowborn Apostles deck, do you wear a cloak?
I like to think that that the people on the other side of the screen imagine me wearing a cloak.
Yeah, with only like you're with your face obscured and just this long kind of golden brown beard sticking out of the cloak.
Absolutely.
How long have you been playing Magic?
I started in high school, but I've only really been playing quote unquote seriously, which is super casually, since around Mirrodin Besieged.
Whoa. That actually goes back quite a bit now.
Yeah, I guess it does. Yeah.
6 or 7 years?
Yeah.
I've lost track because I wasn't playing at the time.
It was about 2010. So
yeah,
about 6 years.
Okay. That's a good time to come back in, or at least that's a good time to really start being serious playing, wasn't it?
It really was, yeah.
Is that when they brought a bunch of Infect cards in?
Let me think about that. Yes.
Okay.
You just had to bring that up.
Yep.
And how long after that did you start playing Commander?
Maybe a year or two after that. I missed the first wave of Commander decks that they released, unfortunately. So Carador, Kalia, all of those out. I think they came out when I was playing, but I wasn't into Commander at the time. And then I hopped on with Prosh in the next set that came out.
When the Commander set came out, you were just like, who are these filthy casuals?
No, I was just struggling to understand Standard or Modern or how blocks rotated. So Commander was...
all worthless formats.
Yes, Commander was above my head at the time.
And now?
And now it's all I play.
That's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's cheaper to play an Eternal format where you don't have your cards rotating out on you.
Yeah.
Or getting banned. Well, I should maybe rescind that. Prophet of Krufix.
Yeah. But she was $1.
But she was so good.
Oh, she was terrible. Terrible.
I was actually trading to pick up as many as I could because I was expecting the price to skyrocket eventually. But not anymore.
If by eventual you mean a dozen or so years, I mean, it's going to happen.
Sure.
If they have their druthers and basically stomp Modern into the ground or create a new format that's a little bit slower or basically force Modern to be a little bit slower, she'll eventually come into her own.
It seems like they're sort of taking their focus away from Modern, so I don't know if they'll make a new format.
Yeah. Well, they may just focus on Standard, in which case Prophet is doomed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except for on the casual kitchen table players.
Yep, but not the casual Commander players.
No.
Actually, so how do you feel about the Prophet banning?
I'm mixed. I thought she was fine-ish, but then I wasn't playing in hyper-competitive metas. Even in hyper-competitive metas, I feel like she always got answered. I don't know. I didn't see her pop up there too much.
Yeah, we found that even though maybe we are hyper-competitive and we just don't realize it, but I think we embrace the 75% rule or 75% ethos a lot more than most people. We every time the Prophet came out, it just became this struggle over who controlled the Prophet. Or if, once it came out, we cloned the Prophet. Or once we killed it, we body doubled the Prophet. It was just terrible.
Yeah, I guess I did do a bit of that with Rune. I have body double in Rune.
Yeah. The only other card really that sees more struggle for control is Consecrated Sphinx.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Now, how did we meet you?
So I think I stalked you guys on Cockatrice. So I listened to the show and I signed up for Cockatrice, and I think one day I saw a Commander in Room, and so I messaged Nate, and then from there I was like, oh, well, I guess Phil's probably Ketjack as he is on Twitter, and you are, and yeah, from there I got on Skype and Cockatrice. That
led to our being friends, or you're being friends with maybe Nate or Sean on Facebook. And then we invited you into the Facebook chat group, where the deck testing chat group.
Yes, I think that was Nate who did that.
And that has been a fountain of game playing, hasn't it?
It really has. Ever since, I guess Johnny Crass came on just before or just around the same time as me.
Oh, so that's right. Oh, my goodness. That's only been a few weeks.
Yeah.
Wow. That's nuts, because it feels like it's been forever. We've play tested so many games together.
It's true.
Yeah.
I remember playing with you quite a while ago once. I think it actually may have been me playing Shadowborn Apostles, And
was it?
I think so, because I think the first game we played on Skype, you said Sweet Shadowborn Apostle deck or something like that.
Oh, wait, that was months ago.
That was months ago. But that was before the Facebook group.
Right. Oh, okay. I do remember that. Okay, I vaguely remember it, to be clear, but that's right. That was a long time ago.
It was very long ago. And in that game, I did not go infinite.
Yay.
3 cheers for not going infinite, right?
Yes, the bearer of the infinite Shadowborn. Or the Shadowborn Infinity, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, but we'll get to that, I think. First, let's talk about a little bit of news. There's some community news that's affected us in the last week or so. And by the time folks hear this, it'll be more than a week old since it actually was reversed, right? Because the news I'm talking about are the changes that were announced to the Pro Tour, specifically the Pro Tour Platinum players. So on a little history for the folks who aren't following, and we'll explain why this is relatively important to us, Commander players, filthy casuals, who maybe never will be among the elite of the elite Pro Tour players. But on the 24th of April, Sunday, at the end of Pro Tour Shadows over Innistrad, and it really stole the thunder. You know, it took the wind out of the sails of everybody who was in that Pro Tour, because they found out just as it ended that Hélène Bergeau, she is the director of organized play and trade marketing. We can't lose that. She announced that there were changes to the Platinum Pro. These are the top of the top players, the people who have ground their records and, you know, done everything they can to earn as many pro points as possible. And it's about 3/4 of the way through this season, the Pro Tour season this year. But she announced that the next year, the Platinum Pro Club, which receives appearance fees for all of the Pro Tours and other tournaments they go to because it's kind of a way to subsidize their professional lifestyle. She announced that instead of paying $3,000 per Pro Tour appearance, the Platinum Pros would now receive $250. And for playing at the World Magic Cup, instead of being paid $1,000, they'd be paid $250. Instead of being paid $500 for playing at a World Magic Cup qualifier, they'd be paid, guess what it is? $250. Yes, and after an extensive outcry by Twitter, by content creators, us among them, by Pro Tour players, and several extensive and thorough articles that analyze the payouts and so forth, they reversed it. And she reversed it and apologized. Now, among the other announcements and the ones that stuck were Hall of Famers. They were changed from being paid $1,500 per appearance at Pro Tours and the World Magic Cup. They would now only be paid for appearing at the Pro Tour at which the Hall of Famers were announced, and there won't be any modern Pro Tours next year. So, too bad. And for the Hall of Famers, that's kind of a bummer, but at the same time, most of the Hall of Famers are like, we don't need it.
They did also keep the improved prize pool, too.
Oh, yes, and they kept the improved prize pool, which went up by less than the amount they were cutting. They were claiming they were cutting all of the fees in order to increase the prize pool, but the prize pool did not increase commensurately. And when you compare it to esports, which is what they claimed and were comparing it against, these payouts are pitiful when it comes to, you know, Dota or League of Legends and even Hearthstone. Frankly, the Hearthstone Pro Tour equivalent pays a lot more than this. So, oh shoot, I broke one of the rules. Now I'll have to talk about the Queen. Yeah, so did you guys follow this? What do you think about it?
I read about it on Reddit, but I didn't follow it extensively.
Yeah.
You remember 3 weeks ago when WotC got a new president?
Yeah, their CEO.
And now there's suddenly a new and unexpected and undesired and maybe ill-considered high-level announcement that gets quickly reversed. Maybe those are connected.
You think so?
Maybe. Maybe so.
I hadn't considered that. That's a possibility.
Well,
basically, if you ever want a preview card, then we cut that segment.
You think it'll result in that?
I'm just saying.
I mean, I think Wizards did the right thing when they reversed it, and they said that they would. They're going to change it, but they're going to keep keep everything that happened this time around under advisement for when they decide to change things for the following season.
Well, I certainly hope so. Yeah, I mean, reversing it was the right thing because they made promises and basically went back on those promises. And they did it right in the middle of the season. You know, these people had kind of pushed really hard for that status. And they always push really hard the year before for the next year's status. And I'm glad they reversed it because I think it was the wrong decision. And it's a little bit scary, and it does seem like it was a little bit forced on the people who have to run the organized play group. That's under Hélène and a couple of other folks. Because it just represents a detachment to the community that Wizards doesn't normally demonstrate. It was disappointing to see it. And again, you know, that's really why it's important to us as filthy casual players. Because there are only 34 Platinum Pro level players and a handful of Hall of Famers. So we're glad that Wizards reversed the decision and just surprised and kind of shocked that it happened in the first place. But maybe this is something that the company can learn from.
And hey, maybe this means they'll finally release their clutches on the reserve list.
Maybe it's an indicator of that, right? But we'll see. The reserve list, how much we hate it. Enough news. Let's go on to first two minor topics on the show. We are being asked quite consistently about how to play test with us online. And we'll give you the abbreviated version because we did an entire episode boop
27,
boop, the tech show, where we talk about it. We're going to write a primer and post it online. First step is install Cockatrice. The Cockatrice client, you can Google Cockatrice client MTG and look at our upcoming primer. Follow us on Twitter or Facebook for when that is announced. Step 2, install Skype. Step 3, send a Skype contact request to commanderin.mtg.podcast on Skype. Step 4, look for any of these people in the Cockatrice player list on the main server. Plorg, Ketjack, Copain, Radlad, Robin Koss, Charles_Moore, Johnny Crass, and Grubfellow, who's our guest Dean.
And Robin is spelled Robin Koss, Kaas for Koss.
Yes, but I was prevented from saying anything more than the name. I should have done the creepy voice for that. Step 5. Right-click and list the games of any of those people who are online. Step 6, join a game as a spectator, just like Dean did. Step 7, get one of them to invite you to a Skype call. Step 8, observe Whedon's Law. Step 9, be familiar with our table rules, which is basically no infinites, no combos that cycle more than 5 times per wheel of the table. Dean.
Yeah, don't forget that one.
And that's it. Then you too can be joining us online and demonstrating which deck you are the best player at. Our other piece of news is the most busted commander bracket. What that is, folks, that's a voting competition on Twitter where we listed the most busted commanders we could think of, and our followers on Twitter vote on a pair of commanders each day, each round, each day, and decide which of that pair is the most busted, and you can decide what that means for yourself. At the end, we'll do a detailed analysis of the most brutal decks in the top 4, maybe just the top 1, depending on how that turns out. And the list was assembled by a combination of our patrons, including Hunter Pruitt, Nicholas Eusenia, Matt Tilling, Robin Koss, Joshua Ledwell, and deck testing group members Johnny Crass, and hey, here's a familiar name, Dean Gootee. And Nate and Phil. Sean was a little preoccupied at the time and didn't have a chance to contribute. So as we record this right now, Perforos is handing Arkham Dagson his collection of fiery meteors. And when this drops, it could be Animar versus Joyra, Mizzix versus Kalia, depending on whether or not this drops on Wednesday or Tuesday.
Those are some good matchups.
Those are, aren't they? It's brutal. It's hard to think about, like, oh God, who do we vote for? Even Perforos and Arkham. Which one is most busted? What do you guys think, since it'll be in the past by now?
Perforos.
Yeah, I feel like Perforos is just easier.
Yeah.
Arkham might be better if you really know what you're doing, but Perforos, you don't have to do a lot to make Perforos go.
Yeah, having just talked about the big mono blue commanders, including Arkham takes like 3 turns to really get a lock on the board, and that's probably turn 7 or 8, and by then Perforos has killed everybody.
Yeah. I mean, unless somebody's playing a combo Arkham where they win on turn 3 somehow, turn 4. It's possible.
It's possible. It is. And as we all know, Johnny Crass is really kind of leading the charge for Arkham to regain the throne, but he's fallen behind. We'll know in the morning. These are one-day votes, people, so go find it on Twitter. We'll provide a link in our show notes, so head on over there. And our last piece of news is Wizards released a free D&D supplement, which outlines Zendikar as a world you can play in D&D. They finally crossed the magic and D&D streams that they said that they would never cross, that the brand people were saying, and Mark Rosewater said they were adamant about it never crossing.
But the Eldrazi can transcend boundaries.
Yes, they can. If you are already used to kind of kit bashing your own D&D worlds, maybe you already have Eldrazi or Phyrexians in your world, something else to really, serve as a common enemy for the players to set fire to and burn and watch burn alive. Sorry, that's just me coming out.
Perhaps you have Gitrog monsters in your world.
Yeah, but they would never set those on fire.
No, they wouldn't.
No. All hail the Gitrog monster.
All hail.
Yeah, so there it is, Zendikar and D&D. That sounds like potentially a lot of fun. I know I've imagined it several times, but I've already adopted some Magic the Gathering elements for my D&D campaign. That's another story.
Yeah, I don't know why they were so loath to combine the worlds. It seems like a really good idea.
Would you like beholders?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. We've got eyes, but we need more eyes. We need beholder eyes.
Yeah, we do need a lot more eyes. A lot more eyes in our Magic the Gathering. I would be happy with it being called a Deep Tyrant or something like that is analogous to something from D&D, but not exactly the Beholder.
Would it be a horror?
It could be a horror.
Yeah, I think it would
with
be.
Flying?
Hopefully.
Yep.
You know what would be sweet is a legendary Beholder.
And it's just called, it's a big armored eye floating with a bunch of eye tentacles, eye stalks, and it's like the Great Mother, legendary creature, eye horror.
Each eye does something different, right? So it could have a bunch of different costed abilities.
You roll a 6-sided dice for each power that the beholder has.
So this beholder is mostly in red?
Yeah, probably. So you take the power of the beholder and you roll a 6-sided dice once for each power, and that 6-sided dice will have an effect on a target creature.
Yeah, come to think of it, there are a number of different ways to model those, like paralysis and turn to stone, and that can be tap target creature, does not untap next untap phase. It definitely has a fiery ray, so that's fire breathing and pumpable. It has life drain effects. Wow. This could be spectacular. If any of our listeners ever feel like making up a card, feel free to do that and send it to us.
It'd be tough to fit all the text on the card.
Yeah. Yeah, it might only be a couple of activated abilities like a Staff of Domination.
If you like doing those sorts of things, check out the Custom Magic subreddit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, each time the creature attacks, choose 3 of the following.
Yeah, and then it lists like +1, +0.
Do 3 damage to target creature, or...
Do you have to pay mana, though?
Nah.
Not if it's legendary.
Well, I mean, Alicia, who smiles at death, has the triggered ability where you get to pay mana when she attacks.
Yeah.
She's legendary. Yeah.
Nate says no.
Nah.
All right. It's Nate's card, so we'll go with that.
Yeah, it is.
And it would probably be red or red-black. Just saying.
Yep.
Or Grixis, perhaps?
Grixis.
Could be Grixis, but it would be the savage form of Grixis.
Because it has to have the tap ability, the frost ability.
Right, yeah. The tap it down.
Yeah.
As one of the eye stalks.
Yeah,
there's
true.
frost, there's fireball, and there's drain.
Yeah. This is actually getting kind of exciting. Before we get derailed too much, we should go to Shadowborn Apostles, eh?
Oh, we probably should.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah.
What are we talking about again? So, Nate, I mean, when I think Shadowborn Apostles, and no offense to Dean, I think of you.
All right.
You've done a large number of Shadowborn Apostle decks. Why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, I've tried out a bunch of different commanders, and we'll talk about a bunch of different commanders in the context of Shadowborn Apostle. It's a creature, human cleric. It's a 1/1. Why is this so important? Hey, a deck can have any number of cards named Shadowborn Apostle, so it breaks one of the rules of EDH. You can have 30 Shadowborn Apostles in your EDH deck. But why would you do that? Well, there's an activated ability. You pay 1 black, and you sacrifice 6 creatures named Shadowborn Apostle, and you search your library for a demon creature card, and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. So, while the Shadowborn Apostle is itself a tutor, it tutors for a very specific set of cards. It's somewhat difficult and spectacular to pull off, and it's full of flavor. It also leaves the deck builder with fewer brewing choices to make, since fewer of their cards are not a Shadowborn Apostle.
That's a great way to put that.
It's very hard to make cuts to a Shadowborn Apostle deck because you need that critical mass of 25 to 30 Apostles, so that it really confines how much you can put in the deck.
Yeah, the cuts are they're pretty close cuts. So there are several commanders you can consider if you have 30 or so Shadowborn Apostles. There is Shirai, Shizo's Caretaker. He's 4 and a black. He's a legendary creature spirit. Hey, whenever a creature with power 1 or less is put into your graveyard from play, like maybe 6 Shadowborn Apostles, for example, you may return that creature card, all those creature cards, to play under your control at the end of your turn if Shirai, Shizo's Caretaker, is still in play. So this guy offers recursion. He's in mono black, though, so that limits you a bit unless you really like mono black. So if this guy is not your commander, he could be in the 99 for whoever else you choose.
He's pretty awesome.
I initially had him in my build with Athreos, but I ended up cutting him because I wanted to bring the Apostles back at instant speed rather than at the end of the turn. Well, not even instant speed, sorcery speed.
And relying on Shirai being present.
Right, yeah. And he costs 5, which is a little bit high for my curve.
But it's a good redundancy.
It is.
Did you cut Shirai entirely?
I did, yes.
Ooh.
But he does conflict with Athreos. Oh, and speaking of Athreos,
hey,
Athreos got a passage. 1 white and a black. Legendary enchantment creature. God. Mm-hmm. He's indestructible. He's a 5/4. As long as your devotion to white and black is less than 7, Athreos isn't a creature. He will seldom be a creature if you do it right.
Yep.
And whenever another creature you own dies, return it to your hand, unless target opponent pays 3 life. So this guy gives recursion or optional damage. And you can pick on whoever has the least life and just say, hey, give me back my stuff. Or die.
That little bit of pressure is pretty awesome. When a person gets down too low in life and you're asking for something like a Shadowborn Apostles back, it becomes a really tough decision. Unless they've just flipped the bit and they're just like, whatever, I'm always going to pay 3 life and you can kill me like that. But I love Athreos for numerous reasons, and I have a Shadowborn Apostles Athreos deck that sucks, but is a lot of fun to play.
Well, you can't really go wrong with Athreos and Shadowborn Apostles.
No. I just realized they can define creature type God as both an enchantment and a creature.
Oh, as an enchantment type.
Sorry, that's neither here nor there. Sorry. Phyrexia!
Next up is Teysa, Orzhov Scion. 1 white and black. Legendary creature, human advisor. Hey, Shadowborn Apostles are humans. You could do human tribal. But what else does she do? If you sacrifice 3 white creatures, remove target creature from the game. So you exile target creature. Oh, and whenever another black creature you control is put into a graveyard from play, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying into play.
Well, look at that.
So she's a human tribal. She gives you tokens. She gives removal. Plays kind of similar to Karlov and Ailey, Eternal Pilgrim, except she's doing tokens instead of life gain. If you look at the art, she's kind of angry at the creeper behind her, who is staring at her cleavage shirt window.
Nate, you were the first Teysa deck I've played against, and it was a blast. I didn't realize you could do so many token effects in Orzhov colors.
Yeah, they blow up.
They really do. You had zombies and spirits and everything out on the battlefield.
Yeah, I actually think Teysa is stronger than Athreos as a Shadowborn Apostle commander.
Yeah, it's possible. It depends on what you're trying to do, maybe. I don't know. I forget. You probably did beat me, didn't you, with this deck?
Maybe.
Well, not the second game where I went infinite by accident.
Oh, by accident.
Mm.
Yeah, that was an accident.
I actually forgot the no infinite rule. I don't play it unless I'm playing with you, Phil, and we haven't played a whole lot together.
Oh, apparently. No, we haven't played a whole lot together. There have been a few games here and there, but I just haven't been able to play a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe Sunday. Maybe this Sunday, actually.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do human tribal, you can do cleric tribal with Ailey, Eternal Pilgrim. White and a black, legendary creature, core cleric, 2/3, death touch. If you pay 1 and sacrifice another creature, hey, we got plenty of those around, you gain life equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness, and if you pay 1 and a white and a black, sacrifice another creature, exile target non-land permanent. Get out. Activate this ability only if you have at least 10 life, more than your starting life total. So you need 50 life to do it. But she's a cleric. You can do cleric tribal tricks. And you look at the picture, she looks happy and carefree, but we all know there is a trail of her friends' bodies behind her in that canyon.
Yeah, there are. Look at that.
Yeah. She's worshiping what? Is that Nate's one true god? Isn't she a follower of Ulamog?
All right.
She is. That's right. She's looking right up into Ulamog's tentacly face.
Yeah.
Bony face, actually.
Yeah, those tentacles are sort of his legs, aren't they?
Well, the very, very tips of them, yeah. They're probably tentacles on his tentacles.
Probably.
They're so small.
Fractal tentacles.
Have you tried building Ailey as a Shadowborn Apostle deck?
I looked at it a little bit, but I went back to tuning Teysa.
Yeah, I felt like she was too mana intensive because you have to pay the 1 to sack an Apostle to get 1 life. I mean, it's fine if you can get a big demon out that you can sacrifice to gain a whole lot of life at once. But I felt like the life gain was too incremental with Apostles.
Well, it just feels like you're using the Shadowborn Apostles like you would ordinarily use Shadowborn Apostles, but then using that sacrifice effect on the demons as they get either controlled or blasted.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. And then the rest of Ailey is kind of you're protecting her with boots.
Yep.
Right.
You would be.
Yep. So the only thing you really have to fear are the board wipes, and that's when you activate the gain life function until you get to 50 life.
Yes. And there's also Blighted Step is really nice tech in this deck because you get out the 6 Apostles and Ailey, or whatever, 3 Apostles and Ailey. You activate Blighted Step and you gain 2 life per creature on the board. Blighted Step is from BFC, or I think it's from BFC. It's pay 3 and a white and tap and sacrifice it. You gain 2 life per creature on the battlefield.
Yeah, Blighted Step. Right, land, uncommon land from BFC, 3 and a white, sacrifice, you gain 2 life, yep.
It's pretty easy to get 5 creatures out when they're all Apostles.
I bet they are. All right, so we have Carador Ghost Chieftain for 5 and a black-green-white for 8 converted mana cost. Wow, 8 converted mana cost. Who would pay for a commander with what costs that much? You get a legendary creature, 3/4 Centaur Spirit. Carador Ghost Chieftain costs 1 less to cast for each creature card in your graveyard. Oh. During each of your turns, you may cast 1 creature card from your graveyard. So it's kind of a slow restock of the Shadowborn Apostles. There are faster ones. And of course, you want to fill your graveyard with as many Shadowborn Apostles as possible so that Carador is incredibly cheap. That's the standard way to play him, right?
That is the standard way.
Now, have you played a Carador deck?
Carador Apostles or just Carador?
Straight Carador and then Carador Apostles, if you've done it.
I threw together a Carador Apostles deck. I've never played straight Carador. Carador Apostles. Carador is nice because he gives you access to green, which is Well, we'll get to that card later, but there's a really sweet green-black card that combos well with Shadowborn Apostles.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, Carador is a really fun deck. If you haven't tried it yet, give it a shot. It's worth noting that you get all of the Orzhov tricks that you get in all of the ones we've talked about so far, plus you get the green effects. You can include all of the above commanders in the 99. So Nate has done this, and he's actually done this fairly recently. He's built a Sekuar Deathkeeper deck, right? And Sekuar Deathkeeper is 2 and a Jund, or black, red, green. A legendary creature, Orc Shaman, 4/3. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a 3/1 black and red Graveborn creature token with haste onto the battlefield. So this is kind of the tokens version, right? Convert all of your Shadowborn Apostles into tokens and demons.
Sounds like a pretty good plan.
That is a pretty good plan, isn't it?
Yeah. I really want this commander to work. I haven't gotten this commander to work with Shadowborn Apostles. I think Shaman Tribal is a more effective way to go with this commander, but it is an option if you want to try a Shadowborn Apostles approach.
Yeah, you started play testing it the other night. I didn't get to see it develop. Somebody went infinite.
Wait, that wasn't this game. He was playing Teysa.
I'm just bitter.
Oh, all right. You're entitled. You're allowed.
How did we stop Nate in that Sekuar playtest? What?
I wasn't in that one.
Oh, who did it? Somebody. I don't remember now. The next commander is another Jund commander, Prosh, Skyraider of Kerr. Or did we agree on it? Care.
I've always said Kerr.
Yeah. A legendary creature, 5/5, with flying. When you cast Prosh, put X01 red kobold creature tokens named Kobolds of Carekeep onto the battlefield, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast Prosh. And of course, because he's a commander, he gets to come back again and again and again with more of his kobold buddies. Sacrifice another creature, Prosh gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Kobolds, demons, and dragons. Nate, have you pulled this off yet?
No, this was Dean's edition.
Yeah.
Oh, Dean.
Yeah.
Have you pulled this off?
Yeah, I've got a build that worked. Everyone was expecting just standard Prosh, and then I started tutoring out some big demons, and it really threw everyone for a loop. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Surprise! Did you ever even cast Prosh?
I did cast Prosh. This was a while ago, but I don't think I won with Prosh. I think I threw out some demons that controlled the board, Defiler of Souls, and I think I got out Archfiend of Depravity, so nobody else could have anything. And then I just went to town.
Do you play Herald of Leshrac in that as well?
No, that's for Korlash.
Yes. He was lovely too.
Yes, Korlash, Herald of Leshrac, and Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. You steal everyone's lands, which are now swamps, and you have a huge, huge Korlash.
Unless Nate them.
That's true.
It is not time for that.
But he wouldn't do that. That's mass land destruction.
Yeah. Now, why would anyone do that? So we'll be talking, and all of that will be redacted, but it'll be left in as redacted. So Blue wants to get in on the act too, eh? Or should we say Demir, with Vela the Nightclad. 4 and a blue-black, a legendary creature, human wizard, 4/4. With Intimidate. Other creatures you control have Intimidate. Whenever Vela the Nightclad or another creature you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. Wait, is there a right of replication kicked in this somewhere?
Sometime, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She works for Human Tribal as well.
She sure does.
She grants mass life loss. Oh, and your creatures don't have to go to the graveyard. They can go back to your hand. So you can play Evacuate and Washout and deal damage to everyone and get your creatures back.
I have never played Vela or seen Vela played, but she's amazing. She's a blood artist she's a bigger, badder blood artist, isn't she?
Oh, Nate has a deck for you to see.
Mm-hmm.
Nate has lots of decks for everyone to see.
Nate plays some really mean decks.
Yeah, I know. I've experienced some of those really mean decks.
And he loves doing it with obscure commanders, too. Like, I think the first time I ever saw Vela the Nightclad was, of course, sitting across from Nate.
So, how does Vela work with creatures with the Void? Can they just not be blocked since they don't share a color with anything? We all know that Nate loves to build with Eldrazi.
It's true. But does he play with devoid Eldrazi?
Hey, even colorless Eldrazi work, right?
We'll get to that later.
Okay. And then, look at this, of course. No show that mentions demons would be complete without at least a nod toward Kalia of the Vast. But but that's a good question. What is she doing here? For 1 and a Mardu, white, black, red, you get a legendary creature, human cleric, 2/2. So she fits the human cleric tribes with flying, and whenever Kalia of the Vast attacks an opponent, you may put an angel, demon, or dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking that opponent. Brutal. So why is she included in this list?
She's a human cleric, so she fits that theme. She's got demon tricks, so if your deck is full of demons, then, hey, maybe the Shadowborn Apostles are just redundant. Maybe they're not. But they are human clerics. Maybe there are more effective ways to go with Kalia, like not including any human clerics, for example. But if you want to go for a flavor win, I think this is a possibility, as long as you don't get hated off the table immediately just for playing Kalia of the Vast.
And I can think of at least one angel I would like to put onto the battlefield with her ability.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. She'd be scary, I think. Not as scary as a dedicated Kalia. Angel, Dragon, Demon deck.
She does give you access to red, which is nice. There's some really nice red-black demons that Athreos can't run because he's not Mardu.
Yeah, it's true. And I think they're on the list, aren't they, for later?
I think we'll get to them, yeah.
So what's the basic strategy with Shadowborn Apostle?
So one thing you want to do, there are cards that say, look for other cards of the same name and do something with that. And you want to exploit those cards, because there are ways to take advantage of them.
Like infinite obliteration.
Or sever the bloodline?
Oh, wait, that's later in the show.
Yeah, that's how to combat Shadowborn Apostles.
Oh, yeah, that's a different kind of example. That's not the one I'm thinking of.
Right, so which ones are you thinking of? Like, how do you do that?
We'll get to them later in the show, but things like Thrumming Stone, Remembrance, Bloodbond March.
All good cards, but usually not seen in Commander.
Not unless you have Shadowborn Apostles or Relentless Rats.
Now, the Shadowborns, of course, they're inexpensive to play, so they come out very easily, but then they have a habit of dying real fast. They are, after all, worshipping demons. So is there a way to exploit that?
Well, if you know that you're going to have a bunch of non-token creatures that die, hey, Sekawar likes that. Vela the Nightclad likes that.
Teysa likes that?
Teysa likes that. She likes black creatures turning into 1/1 white spirits for free.
Athreos, of course. Yep.
Athreos, hey, you ask someone, hey, do I get my 1/1 back? Or do I have to cast some spell later and get them all back?
Yeah. And with Remembrance out, and maybe another card out that can do something similar, you could do that an infinite number of times, let's say.
Oh, well, at least as many times as you have Apostles in the deck.
Right. Technically not infinite.
Technically not.
Only somewhere between 28 and 45 times.
Yes.
Well, fortunately, there are no demons that serve, like, there's no way the demon tribe can serve as a toolbox. They don't have a lot of good abilities when they enter the battlefield.
Yaha.
Right. They're brutal. They're absolutely brutal.
Some of them even have staying power. They just sit on the board and do something nasty.
Yeah. Okay, so you're exploiting the same name cards, right? Like Thrumming Stone. You're exploiting the fact that Shadowborn Apostles are essentially ephemeral creatures, and you've got a good toolbox of demons, but what do you do with all that?
You win.
How are you going to win, though?
You have flying 5/5s or more that hit your opponents in the face.
So basically you're converting your Shadowborn Apostles into 5/5 cannonballs.
Or bigger.
Or bigger, true. I don't want to rule out the bigger ones.
I think actually most demons are 6/6s for flavor. They cost 6 usually, and they have power and toughness 6.
That's true. So what are some examples? What are some fine examples of this creature?
So one of the all-stars is Harvester of Souls, 4 black creature demon. He's a 5/5. He's got death touch instead of flying, but whenever another non-token creature dies, such as a Shadowborn Apostle, 6 at a time, you may draw a card, or 6 cards at a time.
Oh, dear.
This is a card I actually cut from my original build of Athreos, but I recently put it back in because I was sacking my Apostles to get Harvester, and I figured, well, I'm not going to have the creatures anymore to get the effect, but then you've got something like Edgewalker out, or you've got a lot of mana sitting around because you've got Crypt of Agademe, and you just put all the Apostles back out, sack them again, and get all those cards.
Yeah, this is another way to benefit from the Shadowborn life cycle, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Another way is, oh God, who put this card on the list?
Obnixilis Unshackled shows up a lot. He's a 4 black legendary creature demon. This guy shows up in a lot of decks.
Yeah,
He's
he does.
4/4 flying trample. Hey, do your opponents like to tutor? Well, they're going to pay 10 life for it. They like to crack their fetch lands? 10 life.
And a creature.
Whenever another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on Obnixilis Unshackled.
Yeah, this is brutal. This is just absolutely brutal.
There's a fun trick where you crack your Shadowborn Apostles in response to, a fetch land, and fetch up Obnixilis. Oh, hey, are you searching your library off of that fetch land?
Well, wait, let me put this guy into play first.
Exactly.
Oh, go ahead. Search your library.
Does that say May? You might not want to. What's your life total at? 8?
Oh, nasty. Nasty. Oh, God. I no longer want to talk about this deck. Archfiend of Depravity, we've already talked about. Did we? Well, we mentioned Archfiend of Depravity, but that's right. We just said nobody else gets anything. So, Dean, why don't you talk about the Archfiend?
So, Archfiend of Depravity is a creature demon for 3 black. He's got flying, and at the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player chooses up to 2 creature cards he or she controls, then sacrifices the rest. And he's a 5.
Rude.
And he's a 5/4 on top of that.
That's so rude.
Hey, do your opponents like token decks? Are you playing against Nick? Use this guy.
Do you have Blood Artist on the battlefield?
That's right. Your Blood Artist will really appreciate the Archfiend, won't it?
Yes, he will.
How about Mazarek?
Sure. Why not?
Yep.
This card actually...
Oh.
I've got a story about this. My friend likes to play really, really odd cards in his green deck, and I wasn't playing Athreos. Somebody else was playing with Archfiend, and they had Archfiend out, and everybody was at 2 creatures that had wiggled around the table once. At the end of my turn, my friend casts I forget, some instant in green that turned all of my lands into 1/1 creatures.
Oh yeah, right. 1/1 forest until end of turn,
and I had to choose 2 of them and sacrifice the rest.
Oh, that's so mean.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Hey, Nate, I just thought of something. One of the commanders you want to put up here is Mazarek.
Ooh.
I don't know.
No. You crack the Shadowborns.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey.
Bloodbond March. Oh.
Yeah. You crack that there Shadowborn, don't you know? Them there Shadowborns?
No.
That's 6 triggers that go on the stack, but the demon enters and then gets all of the triggers.
And any other Shadowborns you have?
We're adding this one. Mazarek, Crowl, Death Priest. 3 black, green. Legendary creature. Insect Shaman. 2/2 flying. Whenever a player, such as yourself, sacrifices another permanent, put a +1/1 counter on each creature you control.
Could that be good with Apostles?
I am beginning to regret ever saying anything about it.
If you can manage to sacrifice 6 Shadowborn Apostles with Mazarek out, whatever else you got left on the table is going to be pretty beefy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Goodness gracious. Why didn't I buy more M14? Because these Shadowborn Apostles are now like mid-price of $1.76, and now I want to build one with Mazarak.
I mean, it's cheap for a single card, but when you want to buy 30 of them, it's not so cheap.
Yeah, but the price is only going to go up unless they reprint it.
It's true. Buy them now.
Yeah, buy them now. And our next card is also taking advantage of the Shadowborn Apostles life cycle, right?
Yes.
Reaper from the Abyss for 3 and black. Flying 6/6 demon with Morbid. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, destroy target non-demon creature. So it's not going to destroy 6 creatures, but you're pretty much guaranteed something off of this guy.
It's going to destroy their best thing.
Right. And actually, you're not pretty much guaranteed. You're guaranteed something off this guy because the turn you sacked those Shadowborn Apostles counts for Reaper.
Or you're never going to pay the 6 mana. You're going to sack those Apostles and get the trigger.
That's right. So you get a big beefy demon that kills your opponent's worst, most dangerous creature.
However, it's not a May ability, so if your opponents have no creatures out, then you're going to have to destroy some non-demon creature that you control.
And hey, look,
Right.
I'm playing Athreos, so do you want to pay 3 life for that creature I just destroyed?
Right. If you have the misfortune of targeting your own Blood Artist, well, you still get something out of it.
Or Shadowborn Apostle. Sometimes you have 7.
And, you could always choose Athreos if he's a creature.
That's true.
But that's a waste. Lord of the Void for 4 and black. What? 7 mana? You get a creature demon, a 7/7 demon, flying. Whenever Lord of the Void deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 7 cards of that player's library. Then put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield under your control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've actually played this guy before. He's fun.
He is very fun, yeah. He was in my original build, but I ended up cutting him for a different card, which I think we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, I think he was in my original Athreos as well. I don't know. I don't remember what I swapped out for him. Rune-Scarred Demon for 5 and black. We know this guy. We love him. He's a 6/6. Doesn't match the flavor. Flying, when Rune-Scarred Demon enters the battlefield, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Wow, it's already $6.40, but well worth it. That's a great card.
Yeah, he's nice for all the filthy players who like to go infinite with this deck.
Yeah, he fetches that last piece of the infinite puzzle.
Yes, he does.
Blood Gift Demon, 3 and black. 5/4 flying demon. At the beginning of your upkeep, target player draws a card and loses 1 life. Another great utility demon that sees a lot of play. It's basically Phyrexian Arena.
Yeah, it's not bad to pay that 1 life.
No, it's not bad at all.
And hey, if somebody else is at 1 life, you could have them draw that card.
Yes. Didn't we see somebody die to a Blood Gift Demon? When did we see that?
Was it somebody dying to their own Blood Gift Demon?
Yeah, I can't remember where we've seen a target where we've seen Blood Gift Demon used offensively like that, but it was like somebody was down to 3 life. I can't recall. It might have been in person too. And the Blood Gift Demon just took it away from them, but gave them plenty of cards.
Those cards are going to come in handy when you've got no life.
Ooh, I don't think I've seen this guy. Spirit of the Night for 6 and black. It's Summon Legend. Isn't that cute? It's from Visions. No, Mirage.
Mirage, yes.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. 6/5 Legendary Demon. Flying, Trample, Protection from black. First strike when attacking. Spirit of the Night has haste. Huh.
So he could actually be your commander for Apostles if you wanted that.
Yeah, but they can't fetch him from the command zone.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want that, but you could.
Your laugh was cut off weirdly there, Nate. Now it was just weird. Yeah.
Did you put this guy on the list?
Yeah, because sometimes you want something with haste to
it's true.
punch somebody for 6 damage.
Have you used him before?
I've had the opportunity where I wanted to use him, but he wasn't in the deck.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of nasty. Overseer of the Damned, another good standby from a commander set. 5 and black, 5/5, flying. Whenever Overseer of the Damned enters the battlefield, you may destroy target creature. And hey, you may destroy target creature, and it's unfortunate there's no way for it to capitalize on that. Oh wait, it has second ability. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. That's great. It goes in a lot of zombie decks too. Havoc Demon for 5 and black, a 5/5 flying demon. When Havoc Demon is put into a graveyard from play, all creatures get -5/-5 until end of turn.
Yeah. This guy is kind of a poor man's Kagomara, which is our next card. But it's a tutorable board wipe if you've got a sack outlet, which is just fantastic.
Oh, that's ugly.
I'll actually go ahead and read Kagomaro since...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Kagomaro, First to Suffer, is a legendary demon spirit for 3 black. His power and toughness is star, and it's equal to the number of cards in your hand. And how would you get cards in your hand? Maybe because your opponents didn't pay 3 life for all those Shadowborn Apostles. You just sacrificed to find him. And then his second ability is pay black, sacrifice Kagomaro. All creatures get -X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So this is the trick I was talking about before, Phil. You sack 6 Apostles, turn Athreos off, Kagomaro comes into play, you pay a black, wipe the board, and Athreos survives.
Yeah, I got it. That's fun.
Yeah.
So ugly. Nate, this feels like something right up your alley, right? It's black and red, Sekuar and Prosh have Rakdos options.
Yeah, they do. So you got Master of Cruelties, 3 black-red, creature demon, 1/4. What? Hey, he's got First Strike and Death Touch. That's useful. Master of Cruelties can only attack alone. What? Whenever Master of Cruelties attacks a player and isn't blocked, that player's life total becomes 1. Master of Cruelties assigns no combat damage this combat, but your opponent's life total becomes 1.
Horrible.
And then they're open to Bloodgift Demon.
Yeah, draw a card, buddy.
I don't know if I would run this in Apostles. I run it in Kalia because you can kill a player by putting it out into play for free. But have you guys ever used this in a deck?
Yes. He's good in Grenzo.
Oh, yeah, Grenzo. Do you have a way of making them unblockable? I guess you use probably Rogue's Passage.
Yeah, Rogue's Passage or a number of different ways to make something unblockable, right? Whisper Silk Cloak.
Sure, Cloak.
Sandals. Fleetfoot Sandals.
Mm-hmm.
Can only be blocked by walls.
Yeah, I guess in Prowler's Helm.
Yep. Oh, that's the one. Prowler's Helm. That's the one I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, any number of ways to evade things. Or you could just cover up the text when you put it out.
So people don't know what you put out in play?
You'd just be
hey,
like, no,
can I read that card? No. No, you can't.
It's a card. It's a creature card.
Yeah. And
Don't worry about it.
It's
There's
probably
words.
fine.
Look, all you need to see is the 1.
Yeah, it's just a 1/4. That's all it is.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's it. Defiler of Souls.
Combos well with Archfiend of Depravity.
Yeah, it does. 3 and a black, red. A flying 5/5 demon. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a monocolored creature. That's so rude. Sire of Insanity, 4 black, red. A non-flying 6/4. At the beginning of each end step, each player discards his or her hand.
If you're playing Apostles, you don't care where they are. You're going to just reanimate them back from the graveyard.
That's right.
Defiler of Souls is like the Rakdos Iona.
Is he?
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Are you playing a monocolored deck?
I see. Yes.
Eat your creatures.
And hey, Iona doesn't even survive them.
Don't forget to eat your creatures. Yeah, but if Iona's out, the smart player has already blocked black.
Sure. And you wouldn't cast Iona if he was already on the battlefield.
No. Malfagor, 2 black, red. A legendary demon dragon. 6/6 flying. When Malfagor enters the battlefield, discard your hand. Each opponent sacrifices a creature for each card discarded this way.
Again, who cares where those Apostles are? I don't.
Yeah, really. Good lord.
So the next category we're going to talk about alternate demon tutor or summon cards. Let's start with Blood Speaker. He's a 3 and a black. Creature Ogre Shaman, 3/2. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice Blood Speaker. If you do, search your library for a demon card, reveal that card, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. So you're still gonna have to pay the mana to cast the demon. But whenever a demon comes into play under your control, return Blood Speaker from your graveyard to your hand. So this guy could work as a tutor if you need one.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, it's redundancy in case you're out of Shadowborn Apostles for whatever reason.
There's at least one demon I can think of that we would want in our hand if we skip one entry ahead.
Yeah, I know this guy.
And that's Demon of Death's Gate for 6, black. He's a 9/9 creature demon. He's got flying and trample. But if you don't want to pay all that mana, you could pay 6 life and sacrifice 3 black creatures instead of paying his traditional mana cost.
Oh, that's ugly.
But you could find him with Blood Speaker and then cast him for the low cost of 6 life and 3 creatures and get your Blood Speaker back.
I don't like you guys. I've just decided that.
And maybe the Blood Speaker is one of the creatures you sacrifice.
You know, if it makes you feel any better, Phil, I've never actually had Demon of Death's Gate stick. Someone always steals him.
Sure, as is deserved.
They don't kill him. They steal him and then they turn him on me.
Yeah, he gets a lot of attention when he shows up.
Especially when it's turn 3, or turn 2 even. You could go Apostle. Hey, I'll sack all these Apostles and get a demon.
Turn 2, 9/9, and you're at 34 life, so you're off the throne.
Yeah, and if they don't have an answer, they're dead.
Oh, they're in a lot of trouble.
Or another way to do it. There's Dark Supplicant, which just costs a single black. It's a creature, human cleric. It's a 1/1. And if you tap it and sacrifice 3 clerics, which might include itself, search your graveyard, hand, and or library for a card named Scion of Darkness. What's that? And put it into play. Scion of Darkness, 5 black. Creature Avatar, 6/6, trample. Whenever Scion of Darkness deals combat damage to a player, you may put target creature card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. And if you don't want this guy in your hand, you can pay 3 and cycle it and discard it and draw a card.
The only reason I don't run this is because Scion of Darkness is not a demon. I wish he were. So the only way you could get him out is to pay his cost or reanimate him, I guess, or use Dark Supplicant.
Yeah, but if you get Dark Supplicant in your opening hand, there you go.
Oh, sure.
But it is kind of magical Christmas landy, isn't it?
It is a little bit.
But still.
If he was a demon avatar...
All you need is Dark Supplicant in your opening hand.
And 2 other clerics.
Well, where are we going to find those 2 clerics?
Yeah, in a Shadowborn Apostles deck. Who knows? Oh, my. So we're looking at... These are all alternate ways to tutor demons. What's next on the list?
So if you want some 5/5 flying demon tokens...
And who doesn't?
There's Priest of the Bloodright, 3 black. Creature human cleric, 2/2. Hey, if you keep him around on your upkeep, you lose 2 life. But when he enters the battlefield, you get a 5/5 black flying demon creature. Also, Skursdag High Priest, 1 and a black.
That is so undercosted.
Skursdag High Priest, 1 and a black. Creature human cleric. It's a 1/2. Morbid. Did something die this turn? Then you can tap this guy and 2 other untapped creatures you control and put a 5/5 black flying demon creature token onto the battlefield.
I think that one is in my Athreos deck. Yeah.
He's popular.
Yeah, I was just going to say I don't run him, but that's not necessarily relevant.
Meh.
Well, he doesn't go infinite instantly, so why would you run him?
Yeah, he doesn't go infinite instantly. Neither does this next card, but I run this one.
Yeah, this next one is pretty hot.
Yeah.
Pretty popular. Hey, Westvale Abbey. It's a land. Tap it to add colorless, or pay 5 and tap it, pay a life. Put a 1/1 white and black human cleric creature token onto the battlefield. Why is this? Why are we talking about this? Oh, wait. Pay 5 and tap it. Sacrifice 5 creatures. Hey, maybe you have 6 creatures and like 6 Shadowborn Apostles, and you only want to get rid of 5 of them. Sacrifice 5 of them. Transform Westvale Abbey, then untap it. Hey, Ormondal Profane Prince, legendary creature demon, 9/7, flying lifelink, indestructible haste.
He's so good.
Wow.
He's so good.
Remember, folks, Ormondal is black, so yeah, you're not putting him in any deck that does not already include black. And because this is on the transform side of the card, Ormondal cannot serve as your commander in any way.
Right, just like Elbrus the Binding Blade, which becomes Withengar Unbound.
You'd be surprised at how many people get confused over that. So now in a deck like this, you want to fill your hand with as many Shadowborn Apostles as possible. How do you do that?
Well, there's a couple of cards that you could play to let you draw a bunch of Shadowborn Apostles. There's a couple that do a decent imitation of Harvester of Souls. For example, there's Grim Haruspex from Khans of Tarkir block. For 2 and a black, you get a creature human wizard. He's a 3/2 with morph black, but who cares about that? Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, draw a card.
Wow.
And then we've got...
That card's got beautiful art now. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, that's the promo, actually.
Yeah.
The promo is like $7.
The promo is like what?
$7. If you want a regular one, he's a gumball.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess maybe they just didn't print a lot of this particular promo card? I don't know.
No, this was, remember, there were a select number of cards from, that were in Fate Reforged in that pack, remember? And so if you played in the Fate Reforged pre-release, you earned packs of promo cards, 3 promo cards each pack.
Oh.
Yeah, and this was in that one.
Oh, I see. But yeah, the art on this one is really, really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. Huh. So if you're sacrificing creatures, you want the ability to get cards off of that, right? Again, taking advantage of the Shadowborn Apostle life cycle.
Exactly. And then we've got an Eldrazi getting in on the action. We've got Smothering Abomination for 2 black. He's devoid, so there's a few things that care about black things in your graveyard. They won't count him, even though he costs black. But he is flying. He's a 4/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. Seems like a downside, but whenever you sacrifice a creature, you get to draw a card.
That's lovely. And then on the opposite end of the life cycle, playing them, we have Mentor of the Meek, don't we? 2 and a white, creature human soldier, 2/2, whatever. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, draw a card. It's the classic white card draw.
Yeah, the sort of new classic, because white doesn't do this a whole lot, but we just got one in SOI.
That's right, and that one is Bygone Bishop for 2 and a white, creature Spirit Cleric, so there's your Cleric tribal side. 2/3 flyer, whenever you cast a creature spell with converted mana cost 3 or less, investigate. So this is kind of a convoluted way to get extra card draw, but investigate is really turning out pretty nice in Commander.
It really is, and sometimes you want to draw those cards later rather than right away. With Mentor, you have to pay an extra 1 right away. With Bygone Bishop, you get to pay later, even if it's a higher cost.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving over to Human Tribal. We got an artifact, Gallows at Willow Hill. It costs 3. Hey, do you have 3 untapped humans? Pay 3 mana and tap them all. Along with this artifact, destroy target creature, and its controller gets a 1/1 flying white spirit.
You use this one in Teysa, right? I think you use this one against me.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Teysa can always use more spirits.
Yeah, Teysa can even use it against her own creatures.
Oh, yeah, she can.
That's so mean.
You could even hit one of the ones you tapped, couldn't you?
Yeah, and maybe you have a Rotlung Reanimator or a Zathrid Necromancer, and you get a couple zombies and a spirit from doing that.
Whoa,
and
now.
2 spirits. Yeah, it takes off. I'm just saying.
Yes, it does.
So there's a recent card that's common that's been showing up in an awful lot of EDH decks. Zulaport Cutthroat.
Oh, yeah.
He's a human rogue ally. He costs 1 and a black. And hey, does a creature die?
Sometimes.
Once in a while, a creature dies.
Yeah. Well, somebody's going to lose some life over that. And you're going to gain some life.
Who's going to lose the life? I think it's...
each opponent.
Each opponent.
Each opponent is going to lose a life. If one of your creatures dies, or Zulapur Cutthroat dies, he protects himself that way.
Seems pretty good for this deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's human. So if you're human tribal, you probably want this guy.
Now, if you're going infinite, which you never would, but if you were to go infinite, it's a little bit harder to go infinite with Zulaport Cutthroat in Athreos because when you kill a creature and ask an opponent to pay 3 life, they've lost a life from Zulaport Cutthroat, whereas with Blood Artist, you can target the life. So, like, Phil's at 3, Nate's at 40. If you have some sort of infinite recursion effect going where you get the Apostle back and you recast it for free, if you have Blood Artist out, you could target Nate all the way down to 0 life, and then you could hit Phil. If you have Zulaport Cutthroat out, you'll kill Phil before you can hit Nate down to 0.
I have no problem with that.
No, and why should you?
As long as Phil dies first.
Well, I think Phil might be happier being out of he doesn't want to witness the infinite thing happening.
Yeah, it's bad enough being at the start. Oh, and you have a note here that in green, Eternal Witness and Yavimaya Elder happen to be humans, so if you're doing human tribal, that's all wonderful. Oh, and white has Thalia's lieutenant now, right? What does Thalia's lieutenant do?
Thalia's lieutenant, 1 and a white. Creature human soldier, 1/1. When Thalia's lieutenant enters the battlefield, put a +1/1 counter on each other human you control. And whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/1 counter on Thalia's lieutenant.
Have you tested this one, Nate?
It keeps missing the cut list.
Yeah, it seems a little too slow. It wants to go tall, but doesn't quite get there fast enough.
Yeah, but I can see it as a decent 2-drop.
Yeah, I guess mid-game, if you're holding a handful of Shadowborn Apostles, this will be, you put it down, and then next turn you drop a whole bunch of Shadowborn Apostles and swing for a massive amount of damage, but it's going to require a lot of support, isn't it?
If you're running Eily, it might be okay, because you're just going to pump it up and gain a whole bunch of life off of it.
At this point in our recording, our friend Philip looked at the show plan and saw just how many cards we were about to talk about. What followed was a literary bloodbath in the show plan, the likes of which have never been seen.
All right, let me look ahead here.
I will now read the names of the fallen cards.
Oh my god, when does this...
Angel of Glory's Rise.
There's no way we can do another 20
Zathrid, Necromancer.
pages of this.
Rotlung, Reanimator.
There is no way.
Yeah, this is a lot.
Battletide, Alchemist.
Well, I
Battlefield, Medic.
really didn't see that there were all these
Fiend Hunter.
cards in there. I missed that.
Liliana, Heretical Healer.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we pick 3 more cards and
Devout Chaplain.
talk about them as the highlights, and then
Academy Rector.
point them to a deck list or something.
War Priest of Thune.
Oh my god, for God's sake.
Weathered Wayfarer.
It's alright.
Hanware, Militia Captain.
Can't even scroll far enough down to get
Grand Abolisher.
to here. Let's see.
Pious Evangel.
But we're not doing all the secret tech.
And Blood Artist and Falcon Wrath Noble.
Jesus Christ.
Faith's Reward.
No, we're cutting Faith's Reward.
No rest for the wicked.
No rest for the wicked. I thought we got rid of that too. And then what? And you know we're going to have people saying, why didn't you mention Patriarch's Bidding? And we're going to say, because we're not insane. So, in addition to the human tribal and cleric tribal, now our listeners are going to have to take a look at our deck stats folder and see the deck list for themselves. The deck lists, actually, because we have several deck lists up there. There's some secret tech, isn't there?
Yeah, so there's some stuff that's specific to my Athreos deck is Edgewalker. He could go in any Orzhov deck. He's 1 white-black for a cleric. He's been errated to human, so he could go human or cleric.
All right.
But he says that cleric spells you play cost white and black, less to play. This effect reduces only the amount of colored mana you pay. And he's a 2/2, but who cares?
Yeah, that's great.
So all of your apostles are free.
All of your apostles are free. And so if someone doesn't pay 3 life for your Athreos deck to put it into the graveyard, then it goes right back to your hand and you recast it for free. How about that?
And you get another demon for black.
That's ugly.
Yes. But you can't run Edgewalker in Prosh or Sequar, but this next card you could. Nate, is this something you run in Sequar?
Yeah, Bloodbond March. I run them in Carador too. 2 black and green enchantment. Whenever a creature spell is played, such as a Shadowborn Apostle, each player returns all cards with the same name as that spell from his or her graveyard to play, such as all of your Shadowborn Apostles in the graveyard.
Hooray!
Oh my. Oh, this is so rude.
And then we have Remembrance for 3 and white. It's another enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control is put into a graveyard, you may search your library for a copy of that creature card. If you do, reveal the card, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
So great, you've paid 3 life, and I get another one on top of that. Who cares? I've got Edgewalker. I'm going to play it for free.
Yeah, the other night when you had this out, I was just like, whatever, I'm taking the damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and the next one was a surprise in Standard as well. Everybody kind of discounted it, and then all of a sudden it exploded.
Yeah. I actually... My friend is known for playing really disgusting decks. He plays a lot of Tasigur. I got him to pay for all of my apostles, and then I cast this card, Rally the Ancestors for X white white. Return each creature card with converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Exile those creatures at the beginning of your next upkeep. Exile Rally the Ancestors. Instant speed! So he paid for like 10 apostles, and then I just brought them all back for 3.
That's so mean. That's great, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of... Yeah, I like that.
And Living Death is a board wipe and a reanimation spell.
Classic.
You can't go wrong with 3 black. Each player exiles all creatures from his graveyard, his or her graveyard, and then sacrifices all creatures he or she controls, and then puts all the cards he or she exiled this way onto the battlefield. So, great. You've paid all that life for my apostles. I'm going to wipe your board and get them back. And it's $2 right now.
Yeah, maybe it's time to pick up a bunch of those.
Okay, my pick for Secret Tech. Hey, do you like Sequar Deathkeeper as a concept? Do you like what he does, but you can't seem to get him into work? Well, hey, here's an artifact. Lightning Coils for 3 generic mana. Artifact. Whenever a non-token creature you control is put into a graveyard from play, put a charge counter on Lightning Coils.
Oh my god.
At the beginning of your upkeep, if Lightning Coils has 5 or more charge counters on it, remove all of them, and put that many 3/1 red elemental creature tokens with haste into play. Remove them from the game at end of turn. As your creatures die, this accumulates numbers, and then suddenly you get a kamikaze wave of elementals you can throw at somebody's face.
That's crazy. I think I've seen you use this one before, and I remember it hurting.
You don't even have to be in red and green for it.
No, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful for one of the players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I won a game versus Sean and Pete because Sean didn't read the card.
What did he think it did?
That's great.
He didn't realize that there were going to be a bunch of hasty elementals after there were 18 counters on it.
That's great. It's easy to mistake, though. It's easy to make that mistake. We don't see lightning coils very often.
Yep.
Well, there it is. And it's important to note we have other secret tech, but it's going to have to remain super secret. The Thrumming Stone. What were some of the others?
Yeah, Thrumming Stone is important. It's important to mention that one. You need to have 25 or more Shadowborn Apostles in order for Thrumming Stone to really work. But if you do, then put Thrumming Stone in there.
And that's because it has Ripple, that if you have 25 or more, you're almost guaranteed to hit something every time it ripples.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Yep.
And so listeners, go over to our deck lists and check them out. You can find all of our deck lists on deckstats.net. And we'll provide that link in the show notes. So remember, if you're listening to this and you're like, gosh, what is their deck stats link? You have to use that voice, first of all. And second of all, you have to go to our show notes. Go to our webpage, commanderin.mtg.com, and check the link. So yes, and if only we had a way to make that line in the show plan pulse. And in the meantime, we'll provide links to Dean's deck, all of Nate's decks, my terrible deck, and my terrible Shadowborn Apostles version of Athreos, and you can see all of that. It'll be fun. Nate, you have a message of the week.
Yeah, you might be thinking I might mention something like Counterbore or Nevermore or Surgical Extraction, but this week my message is Bazaar of Wonders, 3 in blue. When Bazaar of Wonders comes into play, remove all cards in all graveyards from the game. Hey, I like that already, but this is an enchantment. It stays around. Whenever a spell is played, counter it if a card with the same name is already in play or in any graveyard.
Ooh, that really hurts Apostles.
Yeah, is there an Apostle somewhere? Then you can't play another one.
No more Soul Rings.
This might be a good card to play anyway. It's got to be a fortune. 10, 11 bucks?
That's about 1 gumball.
1 gumball. Yeah, I guess it's too expensive to play in Legacy or Vintage, and in terms of mana cost. So it's neglected except for us filthy casuals. All right. Nadine, I know you're brewing something, and it's something that will benefit all of us, won't it?
I hope so.
At least we think it will. So why don't you tell us about it?
So sure. So 2 of the other guys in the deck testing group, Johnny and Charles, who was your guest a couple shows ago.
Yeah.
We've been brewing a podcast of our own called Timmy, Johnny, and Spikecast, and we'll be reviewing every set from all of Magic's history from the perspective of the 3 psychographics, Timmy, Johnny, and Spike.
That's excellent. That's excellent. We have a somewhat neglected series where we go back and review an older set in the context of Commander. And I say somewhat neglected because we've only done Invasion so far. That was our
11th
episode, wasn't it, Nate?
Sure.
And Invasion has so many good cards for Commander.
Oh, yeah. That was it was difficult for us to only pick the cards we did. There were so many choices available to us. And how can people reach you, and how can people reach the podcast?
We do have a Twitter account. We are TJScast on Twitter. And on Facebook, we are also TJScast. And we also...
What a coincidence.
We also have a TapDad account at TJScast.
So something about TJScast.
Something about that.
Yeah. And how do people reach you on Twitter?
I am Grubfellow.
Excellent.
And yeah.
By the way, timely change of that name?
Yes. I was a different person on Twitter before, but...
Not even 12 hours ago.
Not even.
Great. So people can find you at Grubfellow. There's no special spelling on that, right?
Nope, no special spelling. Just like the card Squeaking Pie Grubfellows.
Right. Wow. Okay. So that was almost the end of the show. Now we're at the end of the show. Dean, thank you for coming on. It has been a blast.
Thank you guys for having me. This has been a really fun time.
Yeah, it was, I'm glad, of course, I never actually approve of infinite combos, and in general don't feel that reflects well on the player, but it was very timely for you. It was right after that Nate pointed out, like, hey, why don't we do a Shadowborn Apostles episode and have Dean come on?
Sweet.
So, yeah, it was great. And we'll see if I haven't learned a thing or two about infinite combos in the meantime.
Perhaps they're not always bad.
Perhaps not always bad, yeah. But perhaps always dastardly.
Yes, definitely dastardly.
Yes, well, one might need a handlebar mustache to twist if one were trying to be dastardly.
I think I know somebody who has one of those.
You know what? You also know we love our listeners. And, you know, one of the greatest joys, truly, one of the greatest joys of doing this is meeting guys like you. People we would never have met if not for, you know, some way to basically connect like this. And even if we had both happened to be using Cockatrice and randomly kind of stumbled on each other, we might never have played again like that very first time.
That's true.
And we certainly, you know, wouldn't have had the commander and room name. We wouldn't have had all of those easy ways to find each other. And I'm so grateful for it. Whenever I meet anybody who plays Magic and, you know, plays Commander, and we get on the topic of the podcast because, of course, shameless self-promotion, it's like, you know, it's the thing that I love most, and it's really the thing that keeps us doing this. It's crazy because we meet a whole bunch of people, we play a whole bunch of games with folks we would never have played with, and we see so much variety as a result. It's awesome. So if you, our listeners, haven't taken the time to do it yet, write to us. We're cast@commanderin.mtg.com. You can look us up on Twitter, and we'll get to that shortly. You can do all the social medias and stuff like that. And, you know, let us know and play test decks with us. And all it takes is just, you know, a client and a Skype account, and you can play test with us. And the folks who have been listening for a while or have just stumbled in, we have a Patreon account at patreon.com/commanderin.mtg. $1 a show will go a long way to making it much easier to distribute prizes, run contests, and we're probably going to have to switch servers soon, and so we'll end up having to pay a different cost for our servers. So please, a little bit of support, 1/3 of a cup of very elite coffee a week will do wonders for us. Our theme song was created for the podcast by Mr. Nate Burgess. Our logo was created for the podcast by mrpicto.uk with assistance from Kelly DeLuca. Special thanks go to our tech whizzes Jessie, Thomson, and Graham Frank, and to Justin for his server space. And by the way, we are recording today on Justin's birthday. So happy birthday, Justin. You can reach us by going to our website, commanderin.mtg.com. We said our email. We'll say it again, cast@commanderin.mtg.com. You can find us on all the social medias by searching for Commander and MTG Podcast, but apparently not Deck Stats. That's a little too difficult. So individually on Twitter, I'm at KetJack.
I'm at Mr. Plug.
And Sean, to whom all complaints must be sent, is at Copain26.
And that's our show.
Commanderin. Awesome. Yay. All right. Wow, that was wonderful. I'm sorry I got grumpy when I saw that we had 20 pages left to go, an hour and a half into the show.
That's okay. That's understandable.
That was that was funny. I was looking at it, I'm like, oh God, this feels like a lot of cards. How many cards do we? Holy boop! This is a lot of cards.
You should have told me, like, upload 10 cards, and I would have limited myself.
Well, it's one of those things. Like we learned something new with, you know, to add to the SOPs with each guest.
Yeah.
Right? And but we hadn't ever considered. I mean, we've only ever given access to 3 people, you and Charles and Nick. And I think with Nick, we said, yeah, just highlight a few cards. And with Charles, we were like, well, we'll talk about a couple of the cards. And most of those were investigate. But with you, I just then assumed that you knew everything we had ever said before. And we had always said a couple of cards. And so when I said, just put some cards in there, and then effectively walked away, a little did I know.
Right, and then you guys came back and you were editing. I was like, oh, okay. They see the stuff I put in. It's cool.
Yeah. And what I was doing in order to get to and from the back of the show. No matter how long it is, I always do Control A and then left or right arrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I didn't see it.
Well, something to add.
That's funny.